Hello, sixth graders. Welcome to our technology class. This is week 18. And so we are now in the third quarter. So today's assignment will count for the third quarter. And we're starting something totally new. So I'll be getting to that in a few minutes. Just quickly, we are still continuing with our typing lesson. So we'll be doing these for the whole school year. And so the first lesson for the third quarter is the one-page typing test. So I know that these other assignments, there was 4 of them in the second quarter, they're still on and they'll stay on until the third. So today's the 13th, Wednesday, 13th. They should probably disappear by tomorrow. So if you didn't finish them by today, that's it. You can't do them anymore. And that's it. So I hope that everybody did them so you can get credit for them and you don't have to get a 0 on your report card, right? But the one-page typing test is going to be the first assignment for the third quarter. So my best advice is set aside 1 day a week as your technology day, do your typing, do your lesson, and then send it all in and then be done. Time management is such an important skill. And there's studies that show that people who set schedules, they get a lot more done during the day versus people who just say, oh yeah, I'll just do that later. And then they just never do it, right? So schedules should be as specific as possible. Meaning like, even for example, say it was Wednesday and you're like, okay, Wednesday, I get home at 4 o'clock. From 4 to 4:15, I take a little break, I eat a snack. From 4:15 to 5 o'clock, I work on my math homework, 5 to whatever, 5:30, I work on this. Being that specific, believe it or not, sets you up for success. And you end up having more time when you actually plan out your time. So please do that. Don't wait until like cramming everything for the last day and then you're so stressed out. If you manage your time during the week, there should be more than enough time for you to get everything done and even have free time. And then you feel so good, like you feel like you're not carrying this weight and this burden of, oh my gosh, why in the world did I let it come to this, right? And then you're so stressed out. So if you could get a hold of those skills now while you're younger, by the time you're an adult, it'll be easier for you to manage your life, right? And there's a zillion things to do. I'm not trying to scare you, but you know, you get old, you become an adult, you get your job and whatever. There's a zillion things to do. And so it's like trying to keep our time managed is pretty much the only way to get things done, right? And it's all good. It's like, you know, God leads us to good things in our life, but sometimes it's just that we can get overly, you know, burdened when we don't plan our day, because then it's just like we have all these things and we're just like, oh man, I wish I had set aside time because now I feel like I have none, right? So anyways, that's my little, whatever you want to call it, pep talk thing about keeping on track. Okay. All right. So guess what? We are moving into our Internet Safety Digital Citizenship curriculum. This is part of Common Sense Media. They're a really great website. You can check like games and websites and apps and things. They give reviews on them, you know, what age is appropriate, if it's good, bad, pros, cons, all that stuff. And they do have this whole curriculum. So if you've been with me for like forever, since kindergarten, then you know that we do this every year and they have lessons for every grade level. And so we're doing the 6th grade ones. So quick review, what is a digital citizen? So that's my question that I always ask every year. And so we live here in the United States of America. So we could say we live in a physical country and we are citizens of this physical place that we can actually go to and we can see and we can be there in different states in the United States, right? So we're citizens. And we have to follow certain laws and rules and things to really be considered a good citizen, right? And so there is this whole online digital world. And every time we go to a website or an app or whatever it is that you use, you know, games and things, and you connect into the internet or you go online, you now are going into the digital world and now you are considered a digital citizen. And so that's why we're learning about digital citizenship. How can we be a good digital citizen, right? And of course, some of the things that might come to your mind are like, oh yeah, I remembered we learned about cyberbullying. Yeah, you shouldn't cyberbully. There's so much more than just cyberbullying to the digital citizenship life, right? So as sixth graders, we're going to dig a little bit deeper and talk about some different topics that really impact kids as they get older, right? And as we continue on into seventh grade, eighth grade, we get into even more topics. And we focus a lot on, knowing what's appropriate to post, knowing what happens when you post something, knowing how to handle a situation if somebody is threatening, like, and saying, I need you to send me these type of pictures or whatever, or otherwise, I'm going to come find you. And there's so many crazy people out there on the internet. And I really don't want you guys getting, in with the wrong crowd, right? And, you might hear your parents, we always think about our kids and we're just like, oh, we want them to have good friends, right? When they're in school and in person, right? We're like, oh, we want them to have kids that have, similar beliefs or going to encourage them, positive, right? But then guess what? Now it's like, as parents, and even for you guys, we think about you guys and we're like, gosh, when they're online, well, who are they talking to? Who are they playing these games with? We want to make sure that they're making good choices and they're surrounding themselves with other digital citizens who are making good choices, right? And so it can be really tricky. And kids can really get into a bind with some of the things that happen on the internet. And I don't know how much you guys follow the news, but there's been politicians, there's been CEOs and big name people who have gotten into a lot of trouble with the internet, right? And it could be with words that they say, pictures that they send, just all sorts of things. And they destroy their lives, they destroy their careers, and all because they didn't know how to be a good digital citizen, right? And so that's not going to be you guys, because you're learning now and you're going to remember these skills and you're going to start using them now to make sure that you're being safe online. Okay, so our first topic, it says finding balance in the digital world. And this is probably the hardest for kids your age and even high school, college, even adults, guys. How much time do you spend with digital media? And that could be browsing the internet on your phone, playing with an app, chatting, a game, watching videos. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but I know that the iPhones, they have these trackers. And if you go into them, they will tell you, oh, you spent, 4 hours on social media today. You spent 3 hours reading the news. Right? It will even tell you how many minutes or hours you spent in an app. So it's a good tool because it brings awareness to where are you spending your time. But it can also be quite shocking because I think a lot of people, they don't realize until they look at that tracker, oh my, was I really on TikTok for 4 hours today? Did I really browse Instagram for 3 hours? Right? Because they don't even realize that they're doing it. It becomes a habit, which is, we're going to be talking about that. What kind of habits do you have? And especially when you are a student, and you have to, again, like we were saying at the beginning of the lesson, you have certain things that you need to do. And by no means am I saying that you should just, technology is bad, don't use it. What I'm saying is that you need balance, right? There's a time and a place for everything. So, say you set up your schedule every day and maybe you get home, you do the snack, you get the homework, you study, whatever it is. And then maybe you save like 30 minutes for going on your favorite app or playing a game or whatever. That's fine. But it's like you put that time into your schedule and you made sure that you didn't just go home and say, oh yeah, let me just kind of, chill on my phone for a bit. And then 5 hours later, you're like, oh, I didn't even start the homework yet. Right? And then you're like freaking out. Like, that's exactly what we're trying to teach you, is for that to not happen. Okay. So the essential question is, how do we balance digital media use in our lives? Right? So quick review, what is digital media? So in the old days, they had something called media. And this looked like a newspaper that got delivered to somebody's house, or a magazine, watching the news on an old TV that wasn't a smart TV. It was just a regular basic TV. And all these forms of media, books, right? You had to go to the library. I don't know if any of you guys have ever gone into a library before, those places where they have books everywhere and you can borrow them for like a week or two, and then you have to return them. I know it sounds like a foreign concept, right? No, I'm just kidding. But in the old days, that's all that we had, right? And that was called media, different types of media. And the thing about it is that those types of media were just one-sided, right? So you would take it in and you couldn't really interact with it, right? There was nothing you could say back. You could talk to your book if you want, but it's not going to talk back to you. You could talk to the newspaper, you could write comments on the newspaper, but it's not going to talk back to you. But since the internet, now media is basically all digital. And so you can go onto a news website and you can talk with people about what's going on in the news, in the comment section, right? You can go to a magazine online and do the same thing. You can interact now with people all over the world through media. Right. And so that's what digital media is. And it can become addicting. And some people are just like on these websites and they're constantly in the chat, right? Like, blah, 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 blah. I got to say my comment. I got to say my opinion, right? And it becomes like a part of their daily lives. And it can get in the way of their daily lives, right? And so that's exactly what we do not want to happen. So we have to learn how to unplug. And what does that mean? That means doing activities that are offline. And I have a confession. So here we go. I hate technology. Did I just say that? And I'm the technology teacher. But, I didn't choose to do this job. I'm just telling you guys the truth. Like, this is so not me. My master's degree was in school counseling. And I'm thankful I do get to talk to you guys about social emotional and all those types of things. And I do work counseling people separately. But the thing is, God led me here, I believe, because technology is such a big part of our mental health, right? And that's the health of our brain and our heart, right? And things that we don't always think about. And I think that technology can be so amazing if you are the one creating with it. So if you're the one making the app or the website, or you're using technology to grow your brain with new knowledge, then I believe it's a good thing. I think technology is a good thing. It's helping you. It's helping you to influence the world, right, through your creations. But if all you do with technology is you just take it in and you're just like a mindless drone, whatever you see on the internet, you think it's the truth. You're constantly scrolling, and you're like getting brain dead from it, then that's why I hate technology. That's why I don't like it. Because I think that it robs kids of their childhood, especially little kids. I know you guys are getting in middle school. It can rob you guys too. Because there might be an offline activity, an unplugged activity. Maybe it's a sport, an instrument. Maybe it's art. Maybe it's some sort of a new hobby of something that you're making. Like maybe it's an engineering hobby, building things. It could be anything. And maybe technology is robbing you because you're thinking that the only thing that you have are these digital media plugged activities, when in the reality of it, you should have a balance. So I'm not saying to just completely X out technology and forget it exists. You can't do that because it's a part of our lives. And the best way to handle it is to learn how to use it for good, meaning that use it to make you learn a lot, to help you in your life, to help make your life easier, and with the eventual goal of creating with it, right? So that could look like maybe a job in computer science where you're the one designing the app and you can impact the world, right? Through your creation, because then you're having an influence with it. Because you better believe the people at Silicon Valley who design all these apps, they have people in mind, but a lot of the times not for good. They're like, how can we get these people addicted so they keep buying our apps, right? And then they're getting richer and richer and richer. And the people are getting more mindless, becoming more like drones, and they follow whatever these people say, right? And that's why whenever you search something on the internet in Google, they know exactly what you're typing in there. You think Google doesn't keep track? Who watched the NYE from Times Square? Remember they had that commercial about what were the most searched questions on Google in 2020, right? And it was all about like, is COVID-19 deadly, right? Okay, how do they know the most searched questions on Google? Because they track everything you type in there. So I don't know if I'm bursting anyone's bubble here, thinking that you're going on your secret searches and nobody knows what you're typing in the internet. They know everything you do. And what they try to do is target the ads and target all of the things that pop up and stuff to meet whatever it is you're searching about. So that's why if you ever go on and silly thing, let's pretend I'm like, oh, I want to get a new sofa, and I'm Googling that up. Within 10 minutes, I'm going to be getting ads all around. Buy a sofa at this place. Oh, clearance sofas, right? They know exactly what I typed in. And that's somebody's job to do that, right? So I'm just trying to kind of open up your minds a little bit to this world, this online technology world. And again, I am not trying to say cut technology out. It's this terrible enemy. It's not. It's not. There's a lot of good things about technology, but what I'm trying to get at is use it smart. Use it with your brain, right? Stop yourself and say, okay, am I being smart with my technology choices right now, right? And have all of the knowledge to know that, yes, you know, you can't just type anything in there, or posting a picture and thinking that somehow somebody can't now get a hold of that picture and copy it to their computer. Of course they can. You put it out there, it's out there, right? And so that's kind of what our focus is going to be in the next few weeks, covering these different types of lessons and getting you guys to really learn how to be tech smart. We want you to be tech smart. And so you're going to use technology to help you in your life for good and to influence the world for good, right? Those should be like your main goals of tech. And tech can help you learn so many things. I mean, YouTube can be an amazing force if you use it for good, right? But if all you're doing is just consuming, then that's not going to really be, you know, helping you, right? Okay, so let me put on this little video. So it's going to talk about being connected 24/7. So it's a quick little clip, so I'll put it on. Okay, so it's just really like a cute little video showing how the world of technology is so connected, right? They're checking the weather. They're like, oh, it's good weather. They're having the game. They have the game. Then they're sharing pictures. They're sharing who won. Then they're on like FaceTime with grandma, right? And so it's like they're showing how it can help you connect, right? And so again, it can, especially during COVID, technology has been so helpful in keeping people connected, right? When you can't go in person with them, we can do it through Zoom, we can do it through FaceTime or whatever, and we can still talk and connect with people. And so there are some positives or benefits to technology, right? And so that's really what we want, is how can we make sure that it actually is positive in our life. So we already talked about this, so it's just talking about what is digital media. So again, you can communicate with people through the different apps. So a media balance, right? Again, this is having a balance between using digital media, getting together in person, which I know is tricky now, but maybe having a phone call or something, or a video chat, and pretend, having an interaction with somebody that isn't just staring at the screen, like just typing. Spending time with family, friends, schoolwork, hobbies that don't require tech, right? Having a good balance in your life. So what we're going to be doing for this activity, so I'm going to show you guys. First thing you're going to do is think about all the different activities that you do during the week. So these should be online and offline, meaning that things that you do with tech, like maybe playing a game, using an app, and then offline, like maybe playing an instrument, sports. What hobbies are you into? What do you do that doesn't involve tech? And you're going to keep track of that. Then you're going to circle 2 or 3 that you do the most. So think about your time in the week. Circle the 2 or 3 in the different categories that you do the most. You're like, yeah, I probably do that every day. And then we're going to think about, what do your habits look like, right? So when you think about something, a habit is something that you do regularly, like daily, right? And it's like part of your life. And what we want to do is really look into the things that you're doing and analyze, look and say, is this healthy or unhealthy, right? How I'm spending my time. And so when you get a red flag feeling, this is when something makes you feel uncomfortable, worried, sad, anxious. It could be after you just watched a video. Maybe you were on an app and you saw some comments and things, and they started really kind of making you feel sick. These are red flags that it's time for you to shut it off and go away from it and go do something else. And that's for your mental health, because technology really impacts people's mental health, especially teenagers and young, you're almost teenagers, because kids are getting, their identities from the internet, and they're getting their worth, if they think that they're actually worth something. Oh, well, look at my picture. It only got, 200 likes, and that one got like 300. They must look better than me. My hair's not good enough. I need to change this. I need to do that, right? And then you start feeling bad about yourself. I mean, you could give probably, 30 seconds scrolling, and if you're not feeling so, good today, maybe you feel worse. You're like, oh, they're on vacation. Oh, look at them. Everything's great with them, right? And it happens with adults too, guys. But I think that it's probably worse in the tween teenage, because you guys are still growing and this is becoming something very new, right? And so it can really impact you. It can impact your mental health. And that's exactly why I feel to talk about this, because I obviously care about you guys. If that's happening to you, definitely feel free to reach out to me. We can meet on Zoom one-on-one if you just want to let it out. Maybe something is going on. You're not feeling so great about something that you've been doing online. You saw something that made you uncomfortable. So another topic, and I'm not getting into detail about this, but if you ever see explicit images, I'm talking naked photos, nudes, anything like that, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, please shut it off. And if anybody ever asks you through the internet, hey, send me a nude, text it to me. There's some apps like Snapchat where people think, oh, it disappears, so I could easily send a nude and nobody would even know. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but the person that you send it to could easily save it before it disappears. And so there's never a guarantee that you think something that you post. And if anybody's ever asking you for something like that, I mean, that's just a red flag right there to go and let somebody know. You know, if you're not comfortable letting your parent know, come let me know, you know, I mean, so we can work it through and get some protections for you. You can block the person, you know, we can talk it through. I just never want you guys feeling like you're in a position where somebody is asking you for something on the internet, you know, where you're feeling pressured and you don't know how to get out of it. And this happens every day to kids. I mean, I forgot the exact statistic, but they said something like by the time a kid was like in 8th grade, you know, this many kids had already sent nudes. And they call it, you know, they've participated in what they call sexting, right? Where they go back and forth with somebody. And that's a big problem when you think about it, right? It isn't something that kids should really be on, you know, and there's a lot of pornography on the internet, which again, these are explicit images, nudes, you know, of men, women, you know, I don't even know how far it goes, but I know that's not appropriate. And so you have to protect yourself from these things on the internet because you better believe it. They're targeting kids and trying to get them addicted to these things because they want them clicking, clicking, clicking. And we don't want that to be you. So, you know, don't feel embarrassed. If you ever did maybe see something or click on it, you know, it's okay to tell somebody. Maybe you'll feel, I think you would feel better if you shared, you know, okay, I did see this and it made me feel uncomfortable because the internet, like I was saying again, technology can be amazing, but it also has a dark side, right? And that's why we want you guys to be safe when you're using it, especially with your choices of things. So unplugging, oh, exercise. God, there's so many great YouTube exercise videos that you guys could be doing at home. You know, a little workout video for 15 minutes to get energized. Um, that's using technology for good, right? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Ring Fit. It's a game on the Switch, but it's like a total like exercise game, you know? You have to go through and you got to run through the missions. Like that's using technology for good. You're doing something healthy for your body, right? Um, but trying to do something that doesn't even involve a device or an app or the internet. You know, like maybe you want to learn how to crochet, knit, paint. I don't know. Come up with something. Be creative. Let your, you know, imagination flow and unplug. You'll feel so good. Go for a walk. You know, I can't even tell you, some days by the end of the day, I'm just like, oh my God, there's no windows. I'm so sick of staring at the screen. I just want to go outside and see the sky, you know? It's like our bodies crave, you know, doing something that's unplugged because that's how we were created. God doesn't want us just staying inside all day, right? So go do something outside. It's healthy for you, you know, it's good for you. Okay, so we can't obviously have a discussion about ways to unplug, but I hopefully just gave you some ideas. Cooking, baking, those are super fun. You know, you could use the internet, search up a recipe of something you want to bake, and then go bake it. Or say, come up with a recipe of something you want to cook for the week, maybe something like a lunch or something. Cook it, try, have fun with it, right? You know, there's just so many things that you can do. So come up with some ideas and you're going to try them out. And so let me show you guys what the homework looks like. So the homework looks like this sheet here. Everybody's going to get one of these. So you're going to jot down what activities you do online, what you do offline, and you're going to go through your habits. So you're going to kind of think, are they positive, negative? You're going to think about your habits and choose one of them that you want to change. So maybe there's something you're doing too much of and you're like, I want to kind of get better at, you know, doing something else. Challenge yourself, make a plan how you can adjust it and boost your challenge. You know, come up with some things that you have to hold yourself accountable, maybe telling somebody, right? So that's your homework. And then there's something, I'm going to send you a link to a quiz. So it's the Finding Balance in a Digital World lesson quiz. It's inside the Google Classroom. So you just have to click the link and sign in with your Google account. and you should be able to take the quiz. So it's pretty much just everything that we just went over in the lesson, okay? So you can type this up, send it to me, take your quiz, do your typing, and try to really analyze your digital life this week, online versus offline, right? And see if you do have a balance. And if you don't, if it's out of balance, create a balance in your life. Okay, guys, sorry if I talked too long, but I feel like this topic is so important for you guys, where you're at in your lives right now. And again, if you want to talk about anything that's going on in your online life, and you feel nervous about it, I promise you can talk to me. It's confidential. I don't tell anybody. Okay. So if you need a safe place to talk about something going on, just let me know and we can talk. Okay, guys? All right. Bye.